Hello there, David Allen here from Bordeaux, tasting the 2025 en-primeur wines, and today I'm on the left bank, I'm in Margaux, and I'm at the lovely chateaudissan. So the wine I have here is chateaudissan, it's an en-primeur sample of their 2025. So chateaudissan, a third growth in the 1855 classification, and a wine that I normally think is really classically elegant, perfumed Margaux. Not a huge, rich, full-bodied wine, rather a wine with beautiful aromas, elegant freshness. Predominantly Cabernet Sauvignon. The blend this year is 64% of Cabernet Sauvignon with 30% of Merlot, and then the balance is made up with 2% each of Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. And evidently here at Issan this year, they're celebrating 80 years of the estate's ownership by the Cruse family. So let's have a look at the wine, shall we? The wine is a medium to deep, dark, ruby red. It's got a vibrant purple rim. Swirling it, I think it's got somewhere in the region of 13.75% alcohol. So this is a wine with reasonable alcohol and quite good tannic density. I'd almost suggest it's slightly staining the glass there as I swirl it. So let's see what we make of the aromas, shall we? The wine has actually slightly surprised me here because it doesn't perhaps have the expressive violet perfume that is typical of Margaux and that makes me think this is such a classic example of the wines from this appellation. There is an elegant red fruit, maybe a floral hint, touches of peonies, little tiny bits of both cedar and vanilla in the aromas coming from the oak. So let's see what we make of the palate, see if it's a bit more expressive. Very much a feature of 2025 as a vintage, lovely, fresh acidity. I think there was a lot of worry going through a warm, dry season that the fruit was so concentrated that these were actually going to be quite impenetrable wines. And there just was that little bit of rain at the end of August that's helped to open them up, pull down the alcohol. I think it enlivened the vines and allowed them to finish the ripening of the tannins and make them just that bit supple. This is a wine with lots of lovely, fine, concentrated tannin, and yet there's a harmonious smoothness to it. This isn't a huge wine, it's probably medium to medium full-bodied, and the lovely smoothness of the tannin is a silky, almost graphite note that's supported by this really lovely, clean, fresh mineral acidity. And actually, it's towards the finish that this really starts to express the character that I'm looking for from Cabernet Sauvignon. There's a beautiful juicy cassis note that opens onto the finish from a structured mid-palate and just lasts and lasts and lasts. Like I say, it's not a big, rich, full-bodied wine. It's a long, elegant, and incredibly harmonious wine. I hope the perfumes that I've come to expect from Margaux will open from it in the future. But just at the moment, I think this is a wine showing some fabulous promise. It's certainly a wine whose structure, density, and freshness give it all it needs to be able to age for several decades if you have the patience to wait for it. However, the beautiful acidity really is lifting the fruit so well, and the tannins have this supple aspect that I think means this is a wine that could be accessible from a very early stage in its development, maybe 3 or 4 years after release. It's attractive, it's enjoyable. This is a wine I would rate somewhere between 94 and 95 out of 100. And I think maybe as the wine develops in the bottle, people might come to see that as a slightly conservative score for the wine. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the tasting. If you have, do please press the like button. If you have any comments or questions, pop those in the comments box below. I will leave a link in the notes below to the winesearcher webpage for this vintage of this wine. And do use that as a tool if you're thinking of buying en-primeur. Those pages, you can use the tabs, you can find the price history of the wine and its previous vintages, as well as using it to find the current price, to see when the wine's available, and to see who's offering it. So yes, do make winesearcher your companion when you're researching your en-primeur purchases. So thanks again for watching. I will be making as many of these videos as I can in the next week to try and show you all the most compelling, the most classical, the most interesting, the most exciting and the best value wines from the 2025 offering here in Bordeaux. So thank you again for joining me. And I do hope you'll manage to join me again for another tasting in the very near future. Till then, bye for now.